On today's episode of the EMJ PGA Podcast, me and Ben once again review all the action from the world of golf, including Akshay Bhatia's playoff win at Bay Hill at the Arnold Palmer Invitational. We also preview the upcoming fifth major at the Players. Is it really the fifth major? And if so, who's going to win this week? As usual, this podcast does contain explicit language. We hope you enjoy the podcast. Hello and welcome back to the EMJ PGA Podcast. This is episode 12. We are back. This is our 6th or 7th week of recording now, and we're on a heater. We're on a heater. We're going to do our heater in a week later, but we are on a heater. We are back. We are ready. My co-host Ben Hartshorn is here, ready to review and preview a big weekend of action. Ben Hartshorn, how are you doing?
Good. How are you?
Not too bad at all. Not too bad at all. What did you get up to on the weekend? Did you get any threesome action going the weekend?
No, not threesome action. Did play some golf, if that's what you're referring to, with Jude on Saturday. But yeah, some golf and some football and some running. But that was about it. Yeah. What did you do?
Dozza took a bit of a battering on Sunday, was it?
Yeah, that was piss take. Yeah, Dozza lost. Dozza got battered. So yeah, well, yeah, I came on, I got benched. I'm very close to giving up on football because I'm literally not. And I got benched for Dozza the last 3 weeks. So yeah, so Jude's given up.
Yeah.
But yeah, we lost 7-0, which is a shame.
Jude's handed it.
Jude's
handed his notice, is it?
Jude's hung his boots to play golf, which obviously will last ages, because he's going to commit to golf, he said. So
me and him are on the horse racing this week. We've been chatting all week about it.
Yeah, is that this week?
Yeah,
it is this week.
All week.
I'm buzzing for that. Yeah, I mean, yeah. I suppose you were talking about it probably last week on Thursday, weren't you?
We've got to get you in. We're going to get you in on our chats. We blabbered on ages in our little group chat, and I thought we might be pissing you off, so we just
I didn't even look
to our private chat.
How did you?
No, that's fair. That's valid. That's valid. But no, for those of you wondering, I asked Ben if there's been any threesome action. We're obviously not referring to any wrongdoings, or not that it's wrongdoing, but any other misdemeanors. No, it's not wrong, but we're referring to our format, which we cooked up last episode, all right, and we enjoyed it. We enjoyed cooking it up, listening to it back, and we're going to put it up on socials properly this week. Listening to it back, I actually think it's a fantastic idea. I don't know about you guys. I think you should go and play it. I think you should go and try a threesome. Once you've tried it, you're probably not going to want to go and do anything else. And I feel like it's going to be an experience that we all need to have. And obviously, me and Ben, when we do first experience it, we'll be able to report back and talk to you about what went well, what didn't go so well, what we enjoyed about it, and what we didn't enjoy. I'm just guessing that we're probably going to enjoy most of it and not enjoy, like, there's going to be very little that we don't enjoy. What do you think about it?
Yeah, I was thinking about it this weekend. I was trying to sort of talk to Jude about it. Yeah, I don't think there'll be anything we won't enjoy about it, especially in the match play format. Playing against some co-competitors, I think it'll be really good.
Yeah, I massively agree, and we will report back, and we can't wait to sort of share that with you guys, so to speak, and get that up on socials very, very soon. Quickly to the action, okay? We don't want to spend too much time socialising at the start of this podcast because there is a lot to get through today, okay? We have got 3 main big tour, quote-unquote, big or main tour events to get through, and then one of the biggest events of the year to preview. So, first things first, Bay Hill, the Arnold Palmer Invitational playoff. First playoff at the Arnold Palmer Invitational since 1999, funnily enough. Okay, so it's been a little bit of a while. And one name which you'd kind of expect, one name which you'd very much not expect, Akshay Bhatia getting the nod over Daniel Berger. Don't exactly know how, because Daniel Berger seemed like he had the lead from minute 1 to minute 90 plus 7. But he didn't get the job done. And it was the new kid on the block, Akshay Bhatia, the lefty, getting the job done. Ben, your thoughts?
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the final round. Didn't watch the playoff, even though I sort of just turned my TV off and then just sat in the same position as it was going on with the black screen. So it was a bit stupid. But yeah, no, enjoyed it. Final round was good. yeah, like it was a shame none of the real big names got involved, but really entertaining the back nine from Bhatia. And the final hole was fascinating. 72nd hole was amazing to see. And yeah, shame for Berger. That will haunt him for a good while, I'd imagine.
Yeah, I'd probably agree. We'll come on to Daniel Berger in a minute because there's a few points that at least I
Mm.
want to cover, and I'm sure that you'll be able to back me up on some of the points that I sort of raise about Daniel Berger. But Akshay Bhatia, to start off with, what I will say is that if you're listening to this podcast, first of all, thank you so much for listening to this podcast. All right, we want to think of ourselves as a very unprofessional golf journalistic outlet. Okay, and if you do listen for the journalistic purposes, all right, Ben Hartshorn's always sniffing around these correct picks. Okay, he picked Akshay Bhatia at Pebble Beach, and he got close to winning there. Sort of took his foot off the gas in round 4 when he actually had the lead by a couple of strokes going into that final round. And just a couple of weeks later, he's gone and picked up a win. So fair play to you for seeing this coming. And yeah, I mean, you quoted his sort of form on TGL of all things,
Mm.
which I actually think is completely fair. If a guy's put on a heater in TGL, it's still a heater, you know. What do you think about Bhatia going forward? Like, do you think it's going to be long before he starts to announce himself, maybe in the major tournaments, maybe even this week, starting off? Like, what do you reckon to Bhatia?
Bhatia. I like his name, and again, I used to love Thigala, and we'll talk about him maybe in a bit. But like, it's just like a new regen of Thigala coming in, but obviously with the other hand. And to be fair to him, like he can move the ball both ways. He's good off the tee. He's the best putter. He was the best putter last week. He's unbelievable putter, which surprised me because he was terrible. He had a really bad putting day at the final round at Pebble. But it putting unbelievable. He got up and down. He actually played really badly on the front nine yesterday, but then sort of turned on 4 birdies in a row and then hit like the best shot of the week into the 16th. Hits the ball high. I'm sure he can keep it low. I mean, he was very lucky with his shot into 18, but bear in mind he played a fat cut into the shot on 8 onto 16, and then played the highest draw he could to get as high as he could onto 18. I mean, he's freaking talented. He's got like great hips, great swing speed. So you know what, I really like him, and what makes him better, like good with the short stick as well. These guys are going to hit a long way, but he's a good putter of the ball. So you know what, I'm delighted for him because he did struggle that final day at Pebble, and he's responded well.
Yeah, I echo everything that you're saying there. Completely agree. Completely agree. Did Bhatia win it or did Berger bottle it?
Bhatia won it when it came down. I just think when you turn it on a back nine on Sunday, because I genuinely think like that's all they think about their whole lives. These players, like there's a back nine on Sunday at these sort of tournaments, and he shot. What did he shoot? He would have shot 5 under because he did make a bogey on 15. Shot 5 under on the back nine on Sunday, and he made an
Yeah.
eagle in the run, and then made 2 unbelievably solid pars, 6, 17, 18, and then the playoff on 18. So no, he absolutely won it. Bhatia did. So yeah, he won it.
Yeah, I would tend to agree. I would tend to agree. I feel like I'm not going to completely relay. Obviously, Ben's done a good job there of touching on the big key moments. The shot into 16 was absolutely ridiculous. Almost pitched it in the hole, 6 iron, big cut into that par 5 16th, which was absolutely unbelievable. But just touching on a couple of the technical aspects which can lead to someone losing and
Mm.
winning a golf tournament. Obviously, Bhatia, as Ben mentioned, being a lefty, okay, 17 and 18, both trouble on the right side. Okay, so the bailout's on the left hand side of that hole. Okay, when you're under pressure, a lot of these elite players and people are so scared on the driving range when I'm giving them lessons, they're so scared to have the cut as their predominant shot. Okay, but when push comes to shove, you'd rather have a cut than a big draw as a miss. Okay, and not Berger does play the cuts, all right, predominantly, but as a lefty, if you're coming down 17 and you're coming down 18 and all the trouble's on the right hand side, when you play that cut, you're cutting the ball away from trouble. So he can commit to those shots a little bit easier than Berger had to. You look at where Berger missed on 17. Obviously, he shouldn't be three putting from where he was on 17, Daniel Berger. But Berger missed very conservatively above the hole on 17, and then on 18, if you saw how weak and sort of non-committal his drive was on 18 in regulation, I mean, that is the sign of someone who probably wasn't trusting the right to left ball flight on the day. Ended up squirting this horrible low heely shot out there. Actually ended up getting a generous lie out of that rough there, and then obviously gets to the playoff hole and does the complete reverse because he's got into his own head about that shot shape. He's trying to hit the same shot but started too far left. So you just look at these little advantages that you have course design wise, right-hander versus left-hander, and obviously there's not many lefties out there on tour at the moment. Bhatia got down the stretch and he looked a lot more comfortable. As Ben just mentioned, in in regulation, absolutely went pin seeking on 18. I think I messaged you, like, we didn't speak about the golf all week really, but I messaged you just like, what the hell is Bhatia doing? I know that's the shot shape to get close to that hole, but he sort of looked like he caught it high on the face with a big high draw. I mean, he was this far away from giving Berger the win. These little things go in your favour. And Bhatia, like you said, I think he did earn the victory, turning the table to Daniel Berger. And we haven't spoken about Daniel Berger since we've done this podcast. We've not felt the need to. He hasn't given us any need to until now. He's a player that a few years ago, especially during that COVID time when everything got locked down and we were playing some non-crowd golf, which was kind of a weird time. Daniel Berger was one of those prominent names on the PGA Tour. He actually won the first event without fans. I remember watching that. And I can't remember who he beat in the playoff in that particular tournament. Even you might be able to remember this, Ben. But he beat someone in a playoff in the first event without fans. So he was quite a prominent name. But since then, he's had quite a lot of problems, and he broke his finger last year. So again, he felt like he was going away from the world's top elite of the game. Well, he's come back now, and he's reinstated himself. Daniel Berger, we'll come on to this a bit later. He's got one of the most interesting Instagram handles of all PGA Tour players. In fact, probably arguably the most embarrassing. And that is at DB_straight vibing, which when I first read that, I thought, what the hell that got to do with Daniel Berger? Then I read it again and I understood it, and I thought that's possibly one of the worst things I've ever seen. So can you let us know if any of your mates have a worse Instagram handle than at DB_straight vibing? And we will put you into a category of your own. But DB straight vibing, that's how I've got him titled here now. I've just asked you the question, bottle or no bottle. He had a 4-shot lead with 9 to play, and he was actually 5 ahead of Bhatia stood on the 10th. I mean, that's quite disappointing for him, bearing in mind the sort of round that he had on the Thursday. Daniel Berger, is it a good comeback story that he's got to this point, or is it one where we go, okay, he's back now, he should have been holding on to that tournament? What do you reckon?
I think absolutely should hold on to that tournament. I think there's nothing worse than leading all week. Mentally, he must be absolutely drained. It reminds me of these guys are coming in and out, and you talk about how he's in his prime in 2020. Like, he reminds me of someone like Jason Day, Ricky Fowler, where like they obviously had a bit of a run back in the day, and then suddenly like they'll pop back up. And Ricky Fowler did win a couple of years ago. I'm not sure Jason Day has in the last 3 or 4, and then you think, oh, they're back now for good, but then they'll go back into the abyss, and I do worry about him, because obviously you have your thoughts about his swing. Obviously, his Instagram handle doesn't help him in that sense, and if you're telling me he's only won tournaments with no fans, that says a lot about him. But I was hating on him in the week, but no, fair play to him. I mean, his first 2 rounds were incredible, and those greens were tough. It's a tough golf course. So, and it was a better golf course, PGA Tour. Like, it wasn't crazy scoring. So, fair play to him. But again, he'd almost run out of steam for the back 9 on Sunday. He wasn't. You probably think with 5 ahead of Bhatia, he had enough. He had a big enough gap, because Aberg, again, what Aberg does best is just run out of steam going into the final few holes, which he always does. But he had a decent run. But there's no one else having a run, and he gave Bhatia the chance to have a run. So, yeah, he'll be absolutely gutted, and it'll be interesting how he reacts to that. Because again, you have your thoughts about his swing, and those few swings he did, obviously on the 18th hole, that won't feel good for him or his team. So yeah, I feel for the guy, to be fair.
Yeah, I feel like he was, and I can't lie, not much has changed since, but like in that period where obviously golf got shut down, we reopened it back up, and I had to watch Daniel Berger win a couple of times in those events. It just felt like a complete waste of my time personally. His swing has got marginally better. Like, he's a little bit more on plane at the top, very vertical, very laid off. He especially used to be. Yeah, I mean, it's one of those. He's not the prettiest golfer in the world in terms to watch, but obviously incredibly skilled. And that 9 under par first round that golf course, bearing in mind some of the things that the players were saying about that golf course, for someone to go around 9 under par and be, I'm pretty sure 3 or 4, I think he was 3 clear of the lead. Whoever shot 6 under that day, I can't remember exactly what it was, but he must have been walking back to the clubhouse thinking, what the hell? How am I 3 back in this? Because it was obviously playing really, really tough. Winning score being 15 under par, highlighting that. Fair play to Daniel Berger. As I said, do you know the one bit of credit I'll give him? I thought he was 100% going to miss that putt on 18 to get into a playoff. I obviously, as soon as he hit it, it looked like, funnily enough, the putt that lost him the tournament, which is one up the hill, left to right for par. I thought that was the same as his first one. I thought it came right off the face. I didn't have much hope for it. Another thing, again, from a technical aspect, if I'm sure we put it up on our social media, Daniel Berger forcing it into a playoff. You look at that putt and you think that's missing right all the way. It catches the lip and goes in. You think about how sharp those lips are cut on the PGA Tour on those greens. Anything too pacey will not go in the hole. And I saw a really, really good thing from a coach this week on social media, basically saying about the percentage of which the hole gets smaller depending on how hard you hit the putt. And obviously it was along those lines, but really good point that you've never got unlucky if you lip out. You've basically hit the putt too hard or too weak based on the line that you've chosen. And Daniel Berger highlighted that there because he obviously picked the right line, the pace was correct, and it fell in the hole. So fair play to him for forcing it to a playoff. Respectfully, I don't really want to see him up there too many times because I'd just rather see some other people get up there. But for his own personal sort of gain, he was a really elite player, Ryder Cup player, 2021, 2020 even. I'll come back to that in just a little bit later. But yeah, we'll see what Daniel Berger has to offer going forward. Other contenders in the mix. Cam Young, did you see his putt for solo third?
No, I know I know you said about it. I probably did. I just can't. Yeah, I was just literally just thinking about that. What happened again?
So, I mean, this is one that makes me kind of like go almost rethinking exactly what I just said about Daniel Berger. I mean, Cam Young's hit this putt for solo third. He's hit it on the high side. He's hit it completely dead pace, and it's fallen in every single second. And it's like literally, it's missed like 2 millimeters on the back lip. It hasn't fallen in the hole. Obviously, gravity pulling the ball down into the water. And I thought, how the
Oh,
heck has that not fallen in? Cam Young, who shows very little emotion pretty much 99% of the time, was looking at it going, what the hell? Obviously knowing that putt's probably going to be worth a few $100,000. That putt doesn't fall, and he was a bit perplexed at that. But Cam Young's had a really solid week. Again, talking about swings that I like, I absolutely love Cam Young's swing. Speaking of other swings that I like, Ludwig Aberg, he was a flop of the week when we started this podcast, one of the first weeks. Back up into tied third. Is Ludwig Aberg back, Benjamin Artsell?
I don't know. I agree. I mean, he was flop of the week. He was really bad. He was, I think, bottom 10 in a good 3 tournaments in a row. And I thought, what the hell is he doing? Again, rumours he was injured. But yeah, I mean, Aberg's so inconsistent. Oh my God. Like, he can do some amazing things. So I wouldn't be surprised if he's back down the bottom next week. But then I wouldn't be surprised if he wins. But again, just slightly, like, he was there or thereabouts, wasn't he, on Sunday? And I'm just looking at his back nine now. And again, he just got to birdie 12 and then just made pars in. So shame for him because we had heated up then. He could have had a real shout in that. And he's done that at the Masters about 2 or 3 times now, isn't he? Where he just can't quite do the last 3 or 4 holes to really push it. But yeah, I hope he's back because he's very cold, and like the gear he was wearing yesterday was up there with the best gear I've ever seen on a human. So
Oh
yeah.
my god! Oh my god! I was literally just that was my next
Oh,
that was my
sorry.
next thing that I was going to say. Yeah, I was literally going to come to that because I was just going to go like, you bring the technical insight for a change, and I'll bring the
Yeah.
non-technical insight. I was like, I'm not the biggest Adidas fan when it comes to golf and their apparel.
No,
What he was wearing yesterday, I looked at
it
him
was
and I
good.
thought, flipping hell, who wouldn't want to be him looking like that,
No,
playing an awesome round of golf in Florida
no.
like that?
Yeah, he looks unfucking believable. It was so good, to be fair. Not like in the least gay way we could say possibly. He looked good, which is a shame he didn't win because like yeah, he looked the part.
Yeah, yeah. So that's the technical insight from Aberg. If you're looking for the best looking player out there on tour, and you want to back him, Ludwig Aberg for this week at the Players, would be your choice. I want to see. Do you know what? Honestly, I've never been so close because I don't really know what sort of golf apparel to buy this year. Like
Mm.
I'm sort of I'm not really directed. I'm not as OCD as I probably was a few years ago. So now I'm just kind of mixing and matching. And some of the stuff from Aberg yesterday, I literally thought to myself, I am almost going to go and buy that straight from their store because that looked
Mm.
ridiculous. So there you go. There's the technical insight into Ludwig Aberg. Your pick, Minwoo Lee. Talk to me about Minwoo Lee. I mean, again, I just praised your picks and your ability to pick well. Minwoo Lee, I mean, I'm thinking you make your pick last week, and every time you make your pick, I go, yeah, I can see it, but I wouldn't pick it myself. And then every single time they seem to do better than my picks. Minwoo Lee, great week, great pick from you. Just couldn't quite get it done on Sunday.
No, Minwoo Lee's been up there a lot this season. It's a shame to Bhatia. They sort of they're maturing these guys, these young players coming onto tour, and he was there. I think he was really 4 or 5 shots off going into the final round. You think, could he give it a run?
Yeah.
He's a sort of player that gets on the heater. That's something we absolutely love. We want to see the heater, and it's similar to Bhatia. Bhatia got on the heater, and it was too late when Min really got on the heater at 10 because he made 5 birdies on the back 9, but that was after 4 bogeys on the front, and he did make a 2 on the 7th. So he just started so poorly going into Sunday, and threw himself out of the tournament probably by the 4th hole because he had made 2 bogeys and that was him done. So shame, but again, good stuff from Minwoo Lee. I'm happy with the pick. It'd be nice if one of these can win. But that's 4 or 5 picks I've had now, which have been fucking spot on. At least 2 picks have been in the final group, so we're getting closer.
Yeah.
I've been doing a lot of hard thinking today about who I'm going to pick for this week. But Minwoo Lee, unlucky, but good start to the season.
See, I'm trying to tap in. We'll talk about this a bit later on, but I'm trying to tap into your line of thinking of it now. So I reckon there's a good chance that we pick the same player this week.
I
Just
haven't picked
because
mine
I'm
yet.
kind of like looking. You haven't even picked him.
No, I'm still thinking. So.
Fair play. This is what you get right here. And you know what? If it's working, please keep listening to the end of the podcast if you want to earn yourself a little bit of money potentially, because I think Ben's onto it. And I'm trying to copy Ben now with my picks in terms of the way that he does it. So hopefully we get close this weekend for the players. Morikawa, Russell Henley, I think these were all tied 9th, I believe, from what I remember. They might have been tied 7th and Harry Hall 9th. We'll come on to him in a moment. But Morikawa, nice to see him playing solid. He's obviously turned a corner with his golf since Pebble Beach. He's on the right direction. Russell Henley, a bit of a, respectfully, not a massive name that's going to get us excited too much. I saw his caddy getting excited over a bunker shot that he holds, and I thought that's the most I've ever seen or quite liked from Russell Henley. It wasn't even him, but I gave him some credit there. Sahith Theegala, good week. You mentioned Theegala a minute ago. You got anything to say on Theegala particularly?
No, and I can't admit I did watch all of Sunday. I can't admit I saw him hit a shot, but good stuff. Again, Theegala, part of the Minwoo Lee, the Bhatia gang of the upcoming players, almost like the generation after McIlroy. Like McIlroy's generation, but it's like the Tiger generation. Then it was the McIlroy, and then we're coming to another generation of players, and he's part of that generation. And but again, can be more consistent, which is nice to see for Theegals.
Yeah, definitely fair. I think Theegala got on the heater early on in the day. I think that's probably why you didn't see him. I think he went up pretty early. I think he started at 6 under par, and he shot a decent number on Sunday. So fair play to Sahith Theegala. And then just another note, Ricky Fowler again, orange and white, classic Oklahoma. Is it Oklahoma? I want to say it's Oklahoma that he came out of. Oklahoma don't play American football in orange jerseys. So I swear I read somewhere that it was to do with the college that he came out of. It might be one of the Texas schools, I can't remember, but anyway, the orange and white, the classic combination. Ricky Fowler, mullet out the back of the hair, out the back of the hat, even, which I don't condone. I think it's a ridiculous hairstyle, but it is just classic Ricky Fowler attire, and he finished tied 9th, as well as Harry Hall, by the way, who was one of my ones to watch. Harry Hall, I mean, he just plods along, winning some money, doesn't he? And you won't ever see him probably on the TV. In fact, if you do see him, you don't see him that much. Funnily enough, he's a Bridgestone player, Harry Hall. He's done like 1 million adverts with Tiger, which is like crazy when you think
Has
about
he?
it. Like you just see like every Bridgestone advert's got Tiger in it, which I can't know, and Harry Hall, which is like the next player that plays Bridgestone. And fair play to Harry Hall, because all he does is finish in the top 20 and does ads with Tiger. So what a life for Harry Hall. He's a bit of a character as well. If you follow him on social media, he's a bit of a under the radar character. So no, fair play to Harry Hall. He's doing us proud as a ones to watch. We will closely finish up the action at Bay Hill, but a couple of things to just touch on before we move on. Scotty Scheffler has had 2 non-top 10 finishes in a row, which is mental that I'm even going to ask this question, because he does this and we all think, like, is something wrong with him? Like, has he lost his touch all of a sudden? And everyone wants to know if he's okay. So Ben Hartshorn, is he okay?
I don't know. I forgot he was even playing. It was one of those weeks where he was not even mentioned. Just a very average 4 rounds. Like he just very, very average. A lot of bogeys. I'm just having a look through now. A lot of bogeys. He's made over sort of 6 or 7 bogeys there, which I'm sure he's gone to tournaments and made no bogeys. I don't know. I don't really know what his issue with his game is. I don't think it's his putting. Is he? Is he struggling with his irons? I mean, I don't, because he was a bit crazy, wasn't he? With some of those runs, he came back on Sundays at the start of the season when he was playing some crazy ass shots. So I wonder if he's struggling with that control that he's been so good with. He will be all right. And you know what? If he has a bit of a season off, because he had a bit of a season off in like 23. When he probably did win 3 or 4, but he didn't win a major. And I think Tiger would have had seasons like this back in the day where he'll win 3 or 4 times. It's still an unbelievable season, but he might not win a major, and he might just have something, a little bit of a hitch in his game that he needs to sort out. So he'll be all right if you're worried about him.
Yeah, I agree. I think that he's probably still warming up into the year, albeit you can't really make that as an excuse because he won at the
No.
Amex, and albeit that wasn't the strongest field in the world, but he won comfortably there. So you can't really say he's warming up into the year. I feel like there's definitely a couple of kinks in his swing at the moment, which he needs to figure out. Again, we're not going too long back, and he hit just a straight up shank on the range in Phoenix, which I thought was really, really strange. He shot, I think it was level par first round in Phoenix, 2 over par first round in Phoenix. Yeah, he's had a couple of really, really tough starts as Scotty Scheffler. I feel like it's a little bit of everything. I feel like Scheffler, like a lot of these players, is quite a momentum player. You often find a heater within, even if he's not going to shoot. Obviously, I know he's played solid this week, but I feel like once he makes a couple of birdies in a row, that's when he sort of starts to find his groove. Again, from my sort of standpoint, again, you look at his golf swing sometimes, and the chance for variance in it, albeit not for his sake, but the chance for variance in it is probably higher than maybe a quote unquote prettier looking swing. So when one thing feels slightly off, that might take a little bit longer to work its way out than maybe a little bit more of a neutral looking golf swing. Not for me to comment on Scottish swing. It's one of the most ridiculously efficient we've seen in the last few years. But little things like that, which you can just at least ask questions about. I think you're right. I think he'll probably pop up, and I still don't bet against him winning a major. Again, it comes down to it. These players will start bottling it, and they'll start carrying away when it's time to actually win majors. When Scotty's won as many as he has, you're probably looking at that and going, yeah, he'll probably pick one up in one of the 4 that we've got coming up, and maybe this week as well. We'll touch on that a bit later. The other big name in the field was my pick, Rory McIlroy. Blew his back out. Blew his back out in the gym before round 3. Now, obviously, when I saw this news, I thought, oh dear, because I knew that when this conversation has to come round on Monday, I knew I could be in for some abuse. Do you know what? I think part of me thinks rightly, but then part of me thinks actually, considering how much of a beast he is in the gym, I'm surprised we haven't seen this earlier. Disappointed because I just wanted. Look at him smiling. That side of the camera, I can see you smiling. That I wanted. I wanted to see a run on the weekend from McIlroy. I don't think he would have gone to 15 under. He would have needed to make up. Doing my maths, 11 shots in 2 rounds, which on that golf course I think would be too much of a stretch for him. We didn't get to see it because he pulled a muscle in his lower back on Saturday morning. Ben, any thoughts on that?
Well, it was one of them when I saw it in Sunday morning or Sunday afternoon when it was their morning. It was like that meme where I was just like, I was like, what's the meme? It's like, oh shit, anyway. And then I just carried on with my day. I literally just didn't give one fuck. But like, again, just pick me from McIlroy, like, oh, I've hurt my back. Oh, let's just fucking cry about it and not even play. Probably wanted to fucking go anyway because he's playing absolute shit, which he's played all season. Especially when I picked him, he was terrible. So yeah, and you're saying he's going to make up 15 shots in 2 rounds. McIlroy's the biggest beta for going to a final round and then just shooting like fucking level par. So he wouldn't have done anything. Like, get out of that for me is a big red flag, him building back in his gym, because that's what Tiger probably did. And look where he turned out. So he needs to be careful. I suppose he was just probably going to warm up, wasn't he, as they do. but yeah, just such a pick me, because then I read like, oh, McIlroy told me in the change room that he could play. It's just like, what? Just shut up, just fucking play. Like, you're living out everyone's dreams. Like, what the fuck are you doing? It's all because he was playing average. But yeah, just like such big news, which just is no news at all. Like, McIlroy just looking for attention in my eyes. So, but yeah, anyway, it wouldn't have changed the outcome of the tournament, to say the least.
I disagree. You don't know. It's world number two. World number two getting on it. Like, I don't agree with that. Like, we could have seen a good round. He shot 4 under on Friday, which I thought was a respectful score. And again, another one puts him in the frame. Like, he would have been he would have been there or thereabouts, 5 or 6 back from Berger, who didn't fancy it on the last day. Like, another 4 under on Saturday, he would have been there, man.
He may, yeah, he might have been. Oh, so he pulled out Saturday, didn't he? He didn't pull out Sunday, yeah. Maybe, but yeah, just I just don't care. And like, I'm not going to pick him again in my pick. So like, and Macro, yeah, just play better. Like, him and Sheffield just cannot start tournaments very well. So just play a bit better, McIlroy. You don't pull your back, because again, he's gone. I reckon he's woken up and like, I need to go and I need to go in the gym earlier today. I need to have a better warm up because I played like shit, and then he's done that. So like, play a bit better before that. Stop trying to panic and having to chase everything. So yeah, but yeah, fair play to
Yeah,
him.
yeah. It's that pressure of knowing that I picked him for the tournament. He's got out
Yeah,
too eager and sort of
yeah. Your pick didn't even
sort of tweaked
freaking
something.
finish. Your pick doesn't even finish the
Pulled
fucking
up.
tournament. Oh,
Pulled up in
terrible.
the horse racing
Yeah.
world, you'd say. Anyway, let's look for one that crosses the line this weekend. Knowing my luck, there'll be some sort of mad stuff that happens with my pick, but no, we will see. We will see. On the same topic as McIlroy, we're going to go quite speedily through these last 3 events before we come on to the players this weekend. Quite speedily, just a bit of news, bit of gossip, because we love a bit of gossip. We love a bit of
Mm.
gossip in the world of golf. Golf could be called boring in some instances. Do you know the one good thing about Live is that it's definitely made the day-to-day less boring, because you have little things like this. So McIlroy, who obviously before the tournament began was answering questions, and obviously the question on everybody's lips, i.e. the media, is his Ryder Cup teammate Jon Rahm, who's refused to pay his DP World Tour fines in order to come back onto the DP World Tour via their regulations, and basically find himself easily able to qualify for the Ryder Cup in a year's time at Adair Manor. But Rahm said no, and he's one of the I think there was 10 players that they sent the offer to. 9 said yes, and Rahm, the biggest of them all, said no. And he highlighted a couple of reasons as to why. He basically said about he doesn't want to pay that amount of money to play 5 times on the DP World Tour and then control when and where when he doesn't play those events. And also just again, like maybe rubbing salt in the wounds, but again, like Ram saying, if I don't want to do 5, but if they just said 4, I would have thought about it. Like, I mean, Jesus Christ. But yeah, Rory basically said he made a point saying that it's disappointing, obviously, and he made the point saying that basically he thought that Brooks's offer to come back on the tour was a lot more generous, and he felt like Brooks has done a lot more to get back, jump through more hoops to get back onto the PGA Tour and show more commitment that way, which is obviously disappointing as Rams's Ryder Cup teammate. And then the funniest thing of the whole thing was McIlroy making a comment, even though I'm always a McIlroy guy, but McIlroy said that I'm sure Rahm won't be too excited to tee it up in South Africa in a couple of weeks. To which Rahm then answered an interview over at Live in Hong Kong, basically going on a 1 minute spiel about how much he's looking forward to going to South Africa, which I actually thought was quite good shithousery from his part. Ben, in the drama of McIlroy versus Rahm, Live versus PJ Tour, part 563,069, 506. What are your thoughts on this?
I actually didn't know that much about it, and I'm happy you've explained it. I mean, it's barely drama. Those two will be good mates. Like, I reckon they both said that, and they'll both be like on WhatsApp talking to each other after it. It's just a bit of banter. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't blame Ram at all. If he does want to pay the money, and again, he will look at Brooks and think that's ridiculous. He obviously doesn't want to go back on the PJ Tour, does he, Ram? Or doesn't have the chance to yet, maybe. But yeah, interesting from Ram. Um, Yeah, interesting from Rahm. Obviously, I'm going to be on Rahm's side because McIlroy is just again a pick me, like just outspeaking about stuff that doesn't affect him. So I'd be telling McIlroy just to shut the fuck up, like Rahm did. Even if Rahm's probably acting like he's mates with him, because he won't actually be mates with McIlroy, because none of those boys actually like McIlroy in the Ryder Cup team, but they've got to be
They
mates with
do
him.
like McIlroy,
He's
honestly, bro.
like he's
Lad,
like
you're
Ronaldo. It's like
so off
Ronaldo.
it.
It's like Ronaldo, like in your team at like Madrid, like they all fucking hate Ronaldo, but like because it's Ronaldo, you just got to like fake like him, fake suck up to him.
Lad, you're so off it. Like McIlroy would be one of the most likable dons in there. Like in my opinion, you've got to deal with dons.
No,
And again, I'm not going to name names, but there's a few other dons in on the PGA Tour, especially, and even in the Ryder Cup team that I'd be going. Like I don't know if I'd be going out for a beer with him, but McIlroy would be one of my first choices, man. Like unbelievable. He'd be a top lad in there, and you're missing out on that.
yeah, I 100% wouldn't go near. I wouldn't go. Like, yeah, he might be all right, McIlroy, but like, it just I hear enough people talking about them fucking selves. Like, I just can't be asked to listen to him, listen to him fucking whining. So.
I don't agree with that. So I take it you won't be watching the McIlroy documentary on Amazon
No,
Prime come out at the end of the month.
no, I saw that, and no, I won't be. I fucking watched it, or I watched that final at the Masters. It's the most fucking hardest thing I've ever watched. So I don't relive it. Absolutely ridiculous watching bottle that. So no,
No,
probably
we
not. No.
bottled it and got it back a million times.
Yeah, the
This is
fucking
what we
luckiest man
do.
on
This is what we
earth.
do. Right. Okay. I'm calling an end to the bickering about McIlroy. Okay. We've done a good 10 minutes of it there. All right. McIlroy, he'll be back. He'll be back, and he'll be back with his back and ready and raring to go come April even. I'm definitely sure. And as for the Liv versus PJ thing, I probably do agree with you. I think they're probably having a laugh behind closed doors. I deep down don't think. I don't think McIlroy should be getting that involved in it because I feel like it's one of those things where unfortunately the power's all in Rahm's hands, and this is why I'm kind of surprised. No, in fact, I'm not surprised actually thinking about it because if you're John Rahm, all the power's in your hands, okay? DP World Tour are going to ask for a hefty fine off of you. You're going to have to go and rearrange your schedule as per their terms, all right? And then on top of that, if you're Luke Donald, who's recently, and again, this is news as well since we've last recorded, he's
Mm.
on again for 2026, which 2027 even, which I'm really happy about, okay? If you're Luke Donald and you don't pick John Rahm for political reasons to keep the Ryder Cup on European soil, you have absolutely lost your mind. And if he actually goes and wins and he doesn't pick Rahm, the ball sacks that will take would be incomprehensible. So John Rahm knows he's going to get picked. So why on earth, until your golf starts to decline a little bit, because it clearly hasn't, as we're about to talk about here for a couple of minutes, why on earth would you pay that money to come back on the DP World Tour? The only thing it goes against is all these things that you say about Seve and how Seve's his hero and all that sort of stuff. Seve would have never done this bollocks. So that's the only thing that it sort of goes against his word. But
Mm.
if as soon as you sign for Live Golf, you go against your word in terms of your moral compass when it comes to golf and stuff like that. So all the power's in Rahm's hands. He looks like a bit of an idiot if you even care for what he said about maybe 3-4 years ago, but all the power's in Rahm's hands. He's going to play in the Ryder Cup. He doesn't need world ranking points, and he's probably going to have a good run at a major. So I don't understand why people are mad at him for not paying his fines and coming back on tour. All the rest of them who are fighting for a place, I can completely understand it, you know. So again, it's an understandable one from John Rahm, who won in Hong Kong in the Live event. Won quite comfortably as well. Proves he's still one of the best in that tour. And I don't take you much. You watched much from Hong Kong, did you, Benjamin?
No, I didn't. I didn't see much from Hong Kong. No, good win for John Rahm though. Um, a good, a good player. Good player.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we do this every time about Liv. We don't care about it. We just check the results. We're not going to go and watch the highlights unless something viral happens and David Ferrety's screaming over the mic, and that's respectful as I can be to Live Golf. If they want to come and employ me to go and cover their golf, I'll go and do it. Me and Ben will go and do it,
Mm.
and we'll make it interesting for them. Okay, we'll make it
Yeah.
interesting in different ways than just getting David Ferrety to
Oh.
scream down the mic and just swear down the mic when he wants. But we're not going to watch it. And we're not going to watch it on TNT Sports as well. Us golf fans, we're just going to check the viral clips. Well done, John Rahm. The only other thing that I wanted to point out about Liv is Matt Wolff is still alive because he came fifth. Does anyone remember Matt Wolff? Has anyone seen Matt Wolff?
Has anyone seen what I did when he was actually all right? I remember that's when I started getting into golf. And yeah, and to be fair, like he's physics. What's the word? Like he's something special of how he got with that golf swing. That's all I will say. And
Yeah,
bit
yeah,
of Bell though, I think. And wasn't he on Kepka's team the first year living? Kepka was fuming because he was absolute dog shit. And that's all I remember about Matt
yeah.
Wolf.
I mean,
So
again, like it's careful. You can't exactly say that they're faking it, but you get out of Matt Wolf's camp that he struggling quite mentally. I don't know if that gives him the entitlement to go on to Kepka's team and be a complete knob by the sounds of it. But I mean, again, these are the things that we were here. I think these are the things that we were hearing out of Matt Wolf's camp, and whether that's true, whether that's not true, we don't know. We're not in that circle. But Matt Wolf, do you know what? His golf swing's really, really cool. I mean, people would look at me. You go about Daniel Berger's golf swing versus Matt Wolf's golf swing. The amount that I prefer Matt Wolf's golf swing to Daniel Berger's is incomprehensible. So absolutely love that golf swing. Super, super powerful. Good to see him back. Good to see him playing some good golf. It would be interesting if he does qualify for a major or two. I mean, I don't understand how that would even happen, but it would be interesting if he was to do that and make a run at one of these events because he's very cool to watch. Okay, enough of me blabbering on DP World Tour. We're still in South Africa, the DP World Tour. Unbelievable. Have you seen anything out of DP World Tour this week, Benjamin, or would you like me to
uh
report back?
report back, but I did hear about the drama on the final hole or the final round. So
Yeah.
yeah, I did see one, but yeah, go on.
Yeah, no, also a load of drama, load of back and forth on that final round, but we're going to review it quite quickly, and I don't want to disrespect the guys on DP World Tour. I'm just going to hit you with the headlines. Obviously, Dan Bradbury picking up the win for us Englishmen. And there's so many little storylines in this, which I love. But Dan Bradbury picking up the win. He's won 3 times on tour, and that's the second time he's won at that course, Horton Golf Club, which is incredible. Something about that golf course must suit his eye to the T. Like, has there been a golf course that you've stepped up on and you've thought like, oh, like I'm dialed in here, I just automatically feel comfortable, or is it just your local, Benjamin?
It very rarely is my local god. That course does bad things to us. But no, actually so weird. I used to fancy really. I very rarely played that many. Ludlow's never. Ludlow's was the course I played the second and most amount. I've never felt comfortable at Ludlow. The only other place I can think that you're referring to has been. I played like Hawkston Park, the old course, like 3 or 4 times. And I played well around there a few times and I enjoyed that. And where was the other place I played a couple of times and really played well at? Abu Dhabi. Actually, I've played it 3 times now and I've
Yeah.
played pretty well every time. So yeah, Abu Dhabi probably.
Yeah, we had a knock round Abu Dhabi, and I thought you knocked
Mm.
it round really well. So yeah, that was going to be the one that I'd put up on your behalf. I actually don't
What about
know.
you?
I,
Yeah.
I, I actually don't know. The only one that used to be before me and you literally like chopped it up beyond belief was Oswestry. I used to really like
Yeah.
Oswestry when I was playing a lot more competitively, but that was absolutely incomprehensible. Some of the golf that we were playing around there that day, and so
Yeah.
that put a sour taste in my mouth.
Mm.
So yeah. But Dan Bradbury obviously clearly loves Horton Golf Club, and he stops Casey Jarvis from being the first man since Nick Faldo to win 3 DP World Tour events back to back, and he would have been the third person ever to do that, alongside obviously Nick Faldo and Seve Ballesteros. Imagine that, Seve Ballesteros, Nick Faldo, and Casey Jarvis winning back the 3 back-to-back events in a row. Second this week, Casey Jarvis losing out by a shot. Unbelievable. Um, he's got to be a rising star for the PGA Tour next year. I mean, the PGA Tour will already be snapping him up, saying, "Yeah, you're a member next year. Like, welcome on board, no matter what he does the rest of the year." Now, and we're not even a quarter of the way through it.
Mm.
Unbelievable from Casey Jarvis. Got any thoughts on Casey Jarvis, Ben?
3 thoughts, 3 things that or his first name's awful. His surname's an awful surname. No offense to anyone called Jarvis out there. And his swing looked awful when I watched it. But it must work. It must have Chris Giddy up on the PGA Tour. Just looks fucking awful swing. So I hope just terrible to look at, terrible to hear about. But yeah, I mean, what incredible run of form for the player that in
Yeah,
Africa as well. So he obviously loves it down there. Obviously something in the water maybe down there, which he likes.
yeah. There's crocodiles in the water.
Yeah, Crocs or yeah, something in
Yeah.
that
Um,
continent.
yeah, yeah. No, there could be anything and everything in the water in South Africa,
Mm.
and but he loves it. He loves the taste of it, and he loves playing golf down there. And fair play to him. I saw a little comparison to Scotty Scheffler, and obviously, he's winning loads and coming close in loads of these tournaments. Like Scotty Scheffler would be your comparison, but just on the basis that, like you said, the golf swing's maybe not the prettiest to look at. Who gives a toss? Because I keep
Yeah.
picking these players with pretty golf swings, and obviously until they win, when I'll come on and celebrate them. They're not really in trend, sort of quote unquote pretty golf swings right now. And I feel like if there's anything that we can pass on to people listening, or anything that I can pass on, is number one, never film your golf swing on the course unless you want something maybe for social media or something like that. Because honestly, it never really matters what your swing looks like on the golf course. It matters where the ball's actually going. So that's thing number one that you can take away from that. And yeah, don't get too obsessed with how things look. That there's no pictures on the scorecard, i.e., down a camera version, massively applies, and I feel like you need to be worrying about, is your ball flight efficient, rather is your golf swing pretty, and that's something that I've needed to listen to myself from time to time, and clearly the best players in the world do not care what their swing is looking like. They just care about how it feels and what the ball flight's doing as a result. So fair play to Casey Jarvis. Unbelievable run of form, and you'd be mad not to pick him in the next few events going forward. And fair play to Dan Bradbury, obviously, for winning the event. Just one last shout out. Henny du Plessis in his last 4 events has been 4th, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. So between those 2 South Africans, they must be absolutely dialed. And we'll come back on to mentioning Henny du Plessis in just a moment, because that is our recap done for the week, except we have got our 2 main awards to hand out. And first, of course, it is the well-prestigious Heater of the Week.
I'm so keen for this. Heater of the week.
Heater of the week.
Heater of the week.
Heater of the week.
Around 260.
He's kind of on a heater.
A 9 under par Sunday round 63.
One of my greatest heaters.
4 birdies in a row, 12 through 15, and then another one on 17 to seal the deal. He's bogey free, 63.
In terms of the heat of the heater, 62, 10 under par.
You are my heater of the week for this week.
Okay, then, Heater of the Week. Love doing these. Okay, we're probably into our 8th, 9th Heater of the Week now. And we'll put a leaderboard up soon on social media so we can have a vote for who's been the hottest heater of the week so far to this point. Honourable mentions, I just want to start off with, just mentioning Henny du Plessis. I feel awful for this guy. He's been runner-up the last 3 weeks in terms of an honourable mention or a runner-up. He gets on the heater on the regular, usually early in the week. If you want to bet on an after round 1 leader on DP World Tour right now, Henny du Plessis would be one of the best bets that you could make. 8 under par, 10 birdies, 2 bogeys. He was in contention for Heater of the Week. So was Brandon Robinson Thompson. That's a bit of a long one to get out, so fair play to BRT. 8 under par, 7 birdies, 1 eagle and 1 bogey. Okay, respectful. Very, very good heater from him. Thomas Pieters over in Liv. The DP World Tour and the Hong Kong event at Liv, Hong Kong Golf Course, were both par 70s for reference. Thomas Pieters, 9 under par, 61, bogey free, 7 birdies, 1 eagle. Fair play to Thomas Pieters. Honourable mention. And then my last honourable mention, just because I do hold a grudge against him, you're probably thinking there's only one winner for Heater of the Week this week. There should only be one winner. Wrong, because I'm not going to pick Daniel Berger's round 163. Even though it is a ridiculously tough golf course, you could look at it proportionally, like I've tried to do the last few weeks, and go, where's been the lowest scoring? How easy is it to score on this golf course? You could probably argue correctly that Bay Hill was the hardest to score at. So his round 1 9 under par should have won it, really. Bogey free as well. It ticked all the boxes. However, this is payback for his ridiculous acting, shambolic, melodramatic performance in 2020 at the Ryder Cup, moaning at the British official, saying about how Koepka was going to break his wrist on the lip of the bunker in the long rough, throwing an absolute tantrum over it, over a Ryder Cup that US were clearly way stronger than Europe in. I had to tune into that. It was one of the few times I tuned in that week. I had to listen to that rubbish from him. He should be my heater of the week, but he's not, because I'm still holding a grudge against him for that. So unlucky Daniel Berger. My winner is going to be Carlos Ortiz on Liv, who shot a 10 under par 60, which I thought was very, very good. He had 9 birdies, 1 eagle and 1 bogey. So I usually look for bogey free. Carlos Ortiz didn't quite meet that criteria, but 10 under par 60, technically the best scoring heater of the week. You are my heater of the week. Well done, Carlos. Moving it on to the second event second award that we run weekly on this podcast, which I'm sure you're all keen to hear. And this is Ben's bread and butter now. It's time for the flop of the week. Ben, what have you got?
Flop of the week, back again. This is my favourite part of my week. Often, I enjoy looking through the bottom of the leaderboards. I was just having a double check of the leaders. And again, I don't, back-to-back week, probably going to be obvious who I'm going to pick, which is a shame. But when there's a high quality week and there's not much struggling, I often find something like an item or a person not involved in golf or a moment or an action, physical action of someone that becomes flop. It wasn't much going on at Arnold Palmer that could have been seen as a flop of the week. Not that much. McIlroy's definitely in the running for his back issues, for literally being the biggest fucking pick-me princess of all time. Already run through that earlier. So Max is definitely in the running. I was just looking at the bottom of the DP World Tour leaderboard. Jerling Luke, from the South Africa, born in 1992. He shot a first round. Can't even see what first round. 81. Sorry, we had 2 8s, 4 bogeys. So that was a bad round. He then backed it up with a 75. So he came bottom in South Africa. Very floppy, but he might be an amateur. I think he is an amateur. So then we looked at the bottom of the PGA Tour leaderboard, and there was some terrible scoring. We'll just have a quick run through here. I'm looking at the wrong thing. Sorry. Let me just look at my right thing. So yeah, it's terrible. JT Poston, terrible again. 75-81. I can't really pronounce his name. Aldrich Poitigator, up there last week, if you remember. But he came in with a set of 79-76. Justin Rose would bring your attention to. He started his week absolutely terribly. Shot himself out of the week from the start. He went bogey, par, bogey, double bogey to start his week at Arnold Palmer. He then backed up his back nine with 4 more bogeys. So he played absolutely awfully, probably believing his own hype, as the European players often do. So, but the winner of flop of the week is obviously is going to be a lot of attention coming back in. He had his operation to what? God knows, he's built like a twig. Obviously done a lot of harm to him. Again, operation to learn how to build weight, maybe put weight on, go to the gym. So maybe went back to school to learn what a gym was. The cringiest player in the American team, and that's an American team with Bryson DeChambeau in. Again, cringe. I know he's married to Tiger, but again, it's just a fake relationship. Tiger doesn't like. Since JT's gone shit, you don't see any content with Tiger and JT, and that's sort of vibe Tiger's on. He mates with the good players, which I've got a lot of respect for. That's why you see him in videos with Scotty now. He doesn't really like McIlroy anymore because McIlroy's a bit cringe. But so Justin Thomas is absolutely flop of the week. Euan will maybe tell you sort of some of the comments he made about the greens or the shit he was talking. But 2+7s for 14 over, miscut by at least 11 shots. Surely he made 6 bogeys, 2 doubles on his first round. He then backed up with again another 4 bogeys and another 3 doubles. So yeah, Justin Thomas, cringy. No one cares about your operation. Like spare me a tear. You've been awful this week, and yeah, I just terribly cringe. And I hope you don't win. I know you're going. He won in 21 at the Players, but I will not be picking him this week.
Fair play. Yeah, I feel like Justin Thomas with that performance is begging to be picked as flop of the week.
Yeah.
He made some comments pre-event this week, basically saying about how tough it was to basically sit there and do nothing whilst he was recovering from his operation, and then made some comments on his way out the door about how the greens won't be playable by Sunday because they'll be so dry and so burnt out. And comments like that, whilst I can completely understand, and your boy Kepka's been prone to a couple of these in his time where I thought like, I mean, this is just a comment of someone who knows he hasn't got the game to win this weekend, so he's just going to take a little pop out the door by having a go at the golf course. What did Daniel Berger do on day one then? I mean, whilst you were shooting 7 over, what was Daniel Berger doing? Like, I mean, how did Daniel Berger not shoot 2 over? Like, why was 2 over not the score of the day then? If the greens were going to be so bad by Sunday, now I understand that the scoring wasn't unbelievable on Sunday, but you still had you guys like Thigala, like Fowler, etc., who were going nice and low on Sunday. So, and it didn't rain from last time I checked. They might have put some water on there, but it didn't rain down there in Florida. Yeah, that's your classic take a pop on the way out the door. Nice and respectful of him to Arnold Palmer's sort of place. And yeah, fair play to Justin Thomas. I do actually quite like Justin Thomas from time to time, and then there's other times where I just think, what on earth are we dealing with here? And he's a deserved flop of the week. I completely agree with you there. Okay, then, if you are still with us, we are about to review the fifth major, quote unquote. Okay, the Players' Championship. And we're not going to take too long on this. We're going to spend 10-15 minutes on it or so. But we're here. We're ready for it. Ben, you keen for it this weekend?
Yeah, I am. Look, I disagree with McIlroy what he says, and he often talks about like how the player should be a fifth major or some bollocks. I never actually get that excited about the players. Probably because the net hasn't been as exciting the last few years. Last season was actually exciting, but again, because it was McIlroy, I didn't care. So, but I would be excited if I see some good players in there. It's an amazing course. It's the best course that I play on W2K25 on the PS5. Sometimes when I play, it is often the best course, and it is some of the pictures I saw on videos, montage today of how they've got it ready. It looks fucking unbelievable. So we're hoping for a good week, and yeah, probably the biggest non-major of the year.
Yeah, Pete Dye knew what he was cooking with Sawgrass. You're actually incorrect. McIlroy doesn't think it should be a fifth major, but he does think it should be moved. He does think it should be moved to the middle of the year again. Or no, excuse me, that was the
Sorry.
PGA that he was talking about. Yeah, I think it was the PGA that he was talking about. Again, I don't want to misquote him, but I don't think McIlroy said that it should be the fifth major. I feel like he sort of said he's praised it without saying that. But no, that's completely fine. I think he had a bit of a shot at the PGA actually within that sort of thing that he spoke about a few weeks ago. Yeah, Players Championship. I feel like definitely shouldn't be the fifth major. We've got enough majors. I feel like someone made a great point about that, how the women's game's got 5 majors, and I feel like it dilutes major winners and spreads too much out across the plate. You know, you're looking forward to too many events in the year. I don't think it adds anything. In terms of being a major, but I think it does. It holds its ground as a flagship event on tour. They moved it from May to March to make sure that it wasn't too dry. Obviously, Justin Thomas would be thrilled with this. You know, they've moved it from May to March so that it doesn't dry out and they don't have to use so much water. So let's see if Justin Thomas can sort of keep his head with things at Sawgrass this week. Yeah, I think it's fantastic. Favorite players' moments. Obviously, you might. I feel like you might. I feel like I know where you might go with this. I've got a very specific one from just watching it at the time. But any favourite players' moments from previous years or even further past?
Just to comment on your, they don't want to use as much water. They've only got like the fucking ocean of water on each fucking hole at Sawgrass. So yeah, I could see why they're struggling with that. But yeah, no, favourite players' moments. Well, I saw a clip today which just like emits aura. Fat Perez holding a putt like Tiger did on the 17th. If you saw that from Bob Does Sports, that was a class putt and probably better than the Tiger putt back in 2001. Favorite players' moments. I've never actually really watched the players, which is terrible. And the other tournaments I've actually I've gone back and given you some good stuff. Where the players, I cannot actually think about like some of the stretch. I watched JT win back in 21, which I enjoyed because again, full Lee Westwood fan for those 3 weeks because he was up there again back in 21. I know last season, obviously one of my favorite players, Wyndham Clark, lipped out to go to a playoff. So that can't be a favourite moment. Obviously, the Tiger putt in 2001. Tiger's won here 2 or 3 times. So, yeah, you'll be able to tell me a bit more about this place. But yeah.
Well, do you know what? I actually won't, just because a lot of my memories come from obviously growing up and watching it, you know, as I was getting older and in school a lot of the time. And I completely agree. Like in terms of memorable moments for that and how good of a golf course it is, and how that last 3-hole stretch, especially because it's so difficult, it's set up to create drama, and you don't see it a lot of the time. Now, if you're listening, sort of come at me. You could argue that JJ Spawn last year putting one in the water in the playoff could be one of those. Again, it was a Monday morning one. I remember just getting ready to go to work and just putting that on and seeing that happen and thinking like that was a cool moment. But hardly anyone's there. It's a Monday morning. Everyone's at work. And we're doing that, obviously that's not their fault, but it wasn't hardly a marquee moment. Big moments for me, quote unquote moments, are just sometimes where you go like that's actually really, really good performances. I feel like it was 2013 or 2014 Martin Keimer won. I mean, again, where's Martin Keimer gone? But I know he's getting on a bit, but you'd expect him to maybe mature into a real solid golfer, a live player on there, but he's nowhere to be seen from what I understand. But Martin Keimer put in an unbelievable performance, I think in 2013, or I want to say it's 2014 down the stretch there. Just looked like an absolute machine, and that was very good. But my favourite players moment that I watched live has to be Ricky Fowler winning. I want to say the year after in 2015. I mean, the setting, the shot that he hit into 17. I mean, I've never really been on the Fowler bandwagon, so to speak, but I feel like that's Fowler's flagship moment. That shot into 17. Again, if you go back and watch it, you want to go back and watch it. The sun's pretty much down. Like it's a classic sort of Tiger old school moment where people are like lighting their phones up to get it visible for him. He's absolutely gone flag hunting on 17 and put it to 3 foot. He's missed it 3 foot right of 17, holding on to a one-shot lead, I'm pretty sure at the time, or I think he might have been tied for the lead in that moment. The ball takes off and you think, oh my God, he's put it in the water. And then it lands and it's 3 foot away from the hole. No reaction from him whatsoever. Absolute ice cold performance. And then obviously the same up 18 to win that event. That's my favourite Ricky Fowler moment. And that's probably my favourite players moment, because there aren't any standout moments really. Other than that. So fingers crossed we get a grandstand finish this weekend. Obviously, as we touched on, Ben, it was one of your favourite players' breakout year last year. JJ Spawn sort of bursting onto the scene, spawning in, you could say, and getting into a playoff with McIlroy. Couldn't quite get the job done there. I wonder if there's going to be a sort of breakout performance, because there usually is. Like, we've got a few winners from this that you think, oh, where the hell have they came from? So I wonder if we're going to get a breakout performance from someone this year. Coming on to picks, I don't know if you've made any picks so far. Right, I put in the rundown. We want to give 3 honourable mentions and a winner. You might not have done your honourable mentions. You might do them now. But I'm going to do that. Ben, what about you for this week? Anyone that you're liking? Anybody that you're not liking? Give me your thoughts.
Yeah, you make obviously an unbelievable point, which I've been thinking about all day. Like, again, 2-3 years ago, Kitayama came onto the scene and won here. You spoke about Fowler back in the day. You spoke about Keimer. Can someone that's not really won before come and win here? That like we saw Bridgman this year, like we've just seen Bhatia. Is it that sort of season that we're looking at that? So I'll mention 3 players and then I'll give you my pick in a minute. So a player tied 3rd last year, just done. Where was he this week? He was definitely in the top 15 this week. Sorry, apologies. He was in the top 20 this week. Yeah, he was top 20 this week. Someone you don't know about, a bit of a boring player, Lucas Glover. I could see someone like him doing it. Have a look out for him. Tied 3rd last year with Bhatia and Tom Hoagie. Other people I've mentioned, JJ Spawn. Surely he will put a performance back in. A very good player. I like JJ Spawn a lot. And the other person I wanted to mention, I do want to mention Thigala. I mean, you'll probably mention someone like that. Thigala, Russell Henley. Difficult one, but yeah, so they're my 4 I'll think about. I've got a couple other names, but I haven't even decided who I'm going to pick yet, so you have to come back to me in a minute.
Yeah, no worries. I mean, some interesting ones there. Now, I'll run down, and I feel like you deserve to go last when it comes to picking events, because you've been very, very good at picking, so I'll get mine out the way first. Again, for those of you listening to this point in the podcast, don't credit. But you mentioned Kitayama as winning. I think Kitayama's won Bay Hill, but he hasn't won the Players.
Oh.
Yeah, you are correct. You are correct on. You are correct on that line. Again, we're an hour and 2 minutes into this podcast, so for those of you that are still here and have picked up on that, that was for you guys, all right? But no, okay. I'm going to run through my picks, all right, and my honourable mentions, and then eventually to my pick. If I'm going first and you haven't decided yet, I feel like I might have got away with one, because I have a feeling that you might have picked this player if you'd have gone first. But my honourable mentions, first of all, Rico Hui. Hui. I mean, I
Oi.
need to check the pronunciation for that, okay? But Rico Hui, he's world number 80. So you're thinking, what the hell's going on here? I don't know why I'm living on this sword and dying on this sword right now because it hasn't proved to be 100% successful so far. But he has by far got the best course fit rating. I've said this the last 3 weeks, and I always have a look at it. The course fit rating higher than Scheffler by quite a bit, and Scheffler's second, by the way, I'm pretty sure. So he's considerably higher than Scheffler when it comes to strokes gain categories that has been proved to be the most pivotal in winning players at the players. All right. World number 80. Again, you might be thinking, I've never heard of him. That's fair enough, so to speak. If you're world number 80, you might not be the most well-known player in the world, but really young player, really talented player. And his putting coach is a guy called Potter's Putting on Instagram. And if you are interested in following someone to do with in the expertise of putting coaching, I do think that Potter's Putting is the most informationally available or appropriate coach that you can follow when it comes to putting. Obviously, you've got your Phil Kenyons, your elite putting coaches, Brad Faxon. They're only going to give away snippets of what they work with their tour pros. Potter's Putting does lots, and he talks about why he does it as well. Lee Hodges is another one of his players on tour, so he's really worth a follow. But that's just random. Rico Hui is my first honourable mention. We go downwards, and we're going to go with two previous winners. I mean, is it the EMJ PGA Podcast prediction section if I don't bring up Siwoo Kim? I mean, he won it in 2017. He's just a solid player. He loves the golf course. If you fancy a top 20 bet or maybe even better, Siwoo Kim's definitely someone you want to be thinking about. And then I've just spent 10 minutes talking about him. Ricky Fowler's playing some good golf at the moment. He was 9th last week. He hasn't missed a cut in ages. At this stage of his career, respectfully, Ricky, I'm looking for you to miss some cuts. Like, it feels like we're on the other side of the hill now when it comes to the golfing peak. But he's played some really, really solid golf. And I feel like, again, you talk about outsiders that you don't expect. When it comes to something like that, what would get me engaged with the golf tournament? Coming down to Sunday and seeing that Ricky Fowler's in with a chance would get me engaged. Against maybe a bigger name, just sort of the past versus the present, so to speak. And again, Ricky Fowler might not like me saying that, but I think that's something that could happen this week, especially because he's playing good golf. But my pick for the week, speaking of playing good golf, based off his last two events, really, and you look at his player's record, it's not very good. You look at his previous form, as for his last two events, it's not been very good. But I'm looking for someone who's going to have a breakout win, the biggest tournament win of their year. That's sort of a trend that we've sort of been seeing of late on the PGA Tour, players having the biggest win of their careers so far. So my pick, after finishing tied third at Bay Hill, is Cam Young. Just because of the reasons that I stated, I feel like it could be a week for Cam Young to pick up the players. Ben, I will pass it over to you for your pick for this week.
Yeah, I like Cam Young. I wrote him down. I did think about him. Hasn't been as good. You've just, as you just said, he hasn't been as good this season. So maybe this will warm him up. I'm going to pick. I really struggled. I want to go a bit more mainstream and just maybe do a safer pick. So I picked some sort of out there players and I've done well, and I'm not sure if it's a week for that. So I'm going to go a little bit opposite, and I'm going to go someone who's just been really consistent, who's won 2 weeks ago, and I think he'll be up there again. He looks a bit happier. He's playing good golf. I am going to go Morikawa this week. I know his putting lets him down. But yeah, I'm going to go Morikawa. I'm going to leave my out there picks maybe for another week. So yeah, Morikawa for me this week, definitely a top 10. I can see it coming. He's playing too well.
Good pick. Two Americans we've picked, so we don't see an international winner this weekend. I hope that if you are still listening, that is a decent enough players preview for you. We hope that our picks can do some good stuff for you if you want to listen to what we're saying. It's probably sensible that you don't listen to what I say at least, but Morikawa for Ben, he's the hot hand at the moment, so it's worth keeping an eye on him. We will see how things play out. Okay, we have tried to, as speedily as we can, get through all the action from last week and then preview this week. So we hope you have enjoyed. Coming up for the rest of the week, we have got another cool podcast on Thursday. And I won't reveal who it is just yet, okay? Because we're going to do that on social media later on in the week. But we've got a good guest coming on Thursday. They're going to have their own podcast, so you don't need to worry about us previewing any golf last minute before you make your selections. He's going to have his own podcast on Thursday for the second podcast of the week. And off the back of that, Ben might have a mission to do, because Ben is our head of golf refinement, okay? And if you've been listening to Jake last week, and hopefully you'll listen to our guest later on in the week, they pick something that they want to put in Golf Room 101. And if the first guest gets their suggestion approved by the second guest, then it gets forwarded to our man Benjamin Hartshorn, and he has the final decision over whether we put that specific thing into Room 101. So Ben might have a decision to have on his hands next week when it comes to our Thursday podcast. Just keep tuning in for that. On top of that, we mentioned it at the start of the podcast, we created our new golf format, threesomes. So we hope you've been getting out there and experiencing what it's like to go out and play a bit of threesomes. If you haven't, me and Ben are going to do it very soon. We need to get some golf in anyway, so we're going to do that very, very soon with some friends of ours. Ben, final note before we sign off for the weekend's golf. How are we feeling about it?
Yeah.
And are you going to play much golf this weekend, do you reckon?
Yeah, definitely more chance to play golf this weekend. Yeah, definitely gonna try to play some golf. I'm not sure about the weather. Weather's been fucking awful. Is that? But yeah, looking forward to watching some golf. Definitely try and play. You know, I might try and do a double weekend. See if we can play something Saturday and then definitely Sunday. I'm probably not going to bother with any football because it's a fucking piss take. So yeah, looking forward to it, and hopefully my pick comes in, and yeah, get out and play some threesome golf, and enjoy it.
Yeah, we will do. We will do. Final notes there from the main man. We love it. Okay, we are signing off there. Thank you so much for listening. If you are listening, keep sharing the podcast. We have a feeling that we're going to see a big spike in interactions. Thank you so much to everybody who listened to last Thursday's podcast with Jake. That was awesome. Yeah, if you're listening, keep sharing, keep interacting with us, and yeah, we watch everything that we sort of get. We make note of all the interactions, is what I want to say. So we appreciate them very, very much. Okay, then signing off for the Tuesday podcast. Thank you very much, and we will catch you for the players review next week. We'll catch you next time.